I'm reading from Tommy Orange's book, There, and he's got an interlude that I think, if you've never read the book or you don't, at least hear this part. He's such an amazing writer. I just wanted to share this. Okay, powwows. For powwows we come from all over the country, from reservations and cities, from rancherias, forts, pueblos, lagoons, and off-reservation trust lands. We come from towns on the sides of highways in northern Nevada, with names like Winnemucca. Some of us come all the way from Oklahoma, South Dakota, Arizona, New Mexico, Montana, Minnesota. We come from Phoenix, Albuquerque, Los Angeles, New York City, Pine Ridge, Fort Apache, Gila River, Pitt River, the Osage Reservation, Rosebud, Flathead, Red Lake, San Carlos, Turtle Mountain, the Navajo Reservation. To get to powwows, we drive alone or in pairs. On road trips, we caravan as families, piled in station wagons, vans, in the backs of Ford Broncos. Some of us smoke 2 packs a day while we're driving or drink beer continually to keep ourselves occupied. Some of us who gave up that tired life on the long red road of sobriety, we drink coffee. We sing, we pray, tell stories until we run out. We lie, cheat, and steal our stories, sweat and bleed them out along the highways until that long white line makes us quiet, makes us pull over to sleep. When we get tired, we stop at motels, hotels. We sleep in our cars on the sides of the road, at rest stops and truck stops and Walmart parking lots. We are young people, old, every kind of Indian in between. We made powwows because we needed a place to be together, something intertribal, something old, something to make us money, something we could work toward. For our jewelry, our songs, our dances, our drum. We keep powwowing because there aren't many places where we can all be together, where we can see and hear each other. We all come to the big Oakland powwow for different reasons. The messy dangling strands of our lives got piled up into a braid, tied to the back of everything we've been doing all along to get us here. We've been coming for miles, and we've been coming for years, generations, lifetimes, layered in prayer and hand-woven regalia, beaded and sewn together, feathered, braided, blessed and cursed. In the Oakland Coliseum parking lot for the big Oakland powwow, there was one thing that makes many of our cars the same. Our bumpers and our rear mirrors, our rear windows are covered with Indian stickers. Things like, "We are still here," and "My other vehicle is a war pony." And sure, you can trust the government, just ask an Indian. Custer had it coming. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. Fighting terrorism since 1492. And my child didn't make the honor list, but she sure can sing an honor song. There are Shemo Sisters stickers and Navajo Nation stickers, Cherokee Nation, Idle No More, and AIM flags duct taped to antennas. There are dream catchers, tiny moccasins, feathers, beaded miscellaneous hangings from rearview mirrors. We are Indian, Native Americans, American Indians, Native American Indians, North American Indians, Natives, Indians, status Indians, non-status Indians, First Nations Indians, Indians so Indian we either think about the fact of it every single day or we never think about it at all. We are urban Indians, indigenous Indians, res Indians, Indians from Mexico and Central and South America. We are Alaska Native Indians, Native Hawaiians, European expatriate Indians, Indians from 8 different tribes with quarter blood quantum requirements, not so federally recognized Indian kinds of Indians. We are enrolled members of tribes and disenrolled members, ineligible members and tribal council members. We are full-blooded, half-breed, quadroon, 8th, 16th, 32nds, undoable math, insignificant reminders. Blood. Blood is messy when it comes out. Inside it runs clean and looks blue in tubes that line our bodies, then split and branch like Earth's rivers ecosystem. Blood is 90% water, and like water it must move. Blood must flow, never stray or split or clot or divide. Lose any essential amount of itself while it distributes evenly through our bodies. But blood is messy when it comes out. It dries, divides, and cracks in the air. Native blood quantum was introduced in 1705 at the Virginia colony. If you weren't at least half native, you didn't have the same rights as white people. Blood quantum and tribal members' qualifications have been turned over to the individual tribes now to decide. In the late 1990s, Saddam Hussein commissioned a Quran to be written in his own blood. Now Muslim leaders aren't sure what to do with it. To have written the Quran was a sin, but to destroy it would also be a sin. The wound that was made when white people came and took all they took has never healed. An unattended wound gets infected, becomes a new kind of wound, like the history of what actually happened becoming a new kind of history. All these stories that we have been telling all the time, that we haven't been listening to, are just part of what we need to heal. Not that we're broken, and don't make the mistake of calling us resilient. To not have been destroyed, to not have given up, to have survived is no badge of honor. What would you call an attempted murder victim? Resilient? When we go to tell our stories, people think we want it to have gone different. People want to say things like sore losers or move on already, quit playing the blame game. But is it a game? Only those who have lost as much as we have see the particular nasty slice of smile on someone who thinks they're winning when they say get over it. This is the thing. If you have the option to not think about it or even consider history, whether you've learned it right or not, or whether it even deserves consideration, that's how you know you're on board the ship that serves hors d'oeuvres and fluffs your pillows, while others out at sea swimming or drowning or clinging to little inflatable rafts that they have to take turns keeping inflated. People short of breath who've never heard of the words hors d'oeuvres or fluff. Then someone from up at the yacht says, it's too bad those people down there are lazy and not as smart and able to be who we are up here. We who have built these strong, large, stylish boats ourselves, who float the seven seas like kings. And then someone else on board says something like, but your father gave you this yacht, and these are his servants who brought you these hors d'oeuvres. At which point that person gets tossed overboard by a group of hired thugs who've been hired by the father who owns the yacht, hired for the express purpose of removing any and all agitators on the yacht to keep them from making unnecessary waves, or even referencing the father or the yacht itself. Meanwhile, the man thrown overboard begs for his life, and the people on the small inflatable rafts can't get to him soon enough, or they don't even try, and the yacht's speed and weight causes an undertow. Then in whispers, while the agitators get sucked under the yacht, private agreements are made because the precautions are measured out, and everyone quickly agrees to keep on agreeing to the implied rule of law, to not think about what happened. Soon the father who put these things in place is only spoken of in form of lore stories told to the children at night under the stars, at which point there are suddenly several fathers, noble, wise forefathers, and the boat sails on unfettered. If you were fortunate enough to be born into a family where ancestors directly benefited from genocide and slavery, maybe you think the more you don't know, the more innocent you stay, which is a good incentive to not find out, to not look deep, to not walk carefully around the sleeping tiger. Look no further than your last name, follow it back, and you might find your line paved with gold or beset with traps.